Hotep, this is Jareel. Just like to give honor to the ancestors before we go ahead and start this video that I'm about to present to you. Just like to allow them to speak to you, if you will, according to your senses, your common sense. It only takes one thing for you to know, and that's something that is common, and that is to use your sense, your mind, to think. We're going to be talking about the Ten Commandments, common sense, pills, tablets. A doctor gives you 2 pills, tablets, for 5 days. You got a serious problem. 10 excuses, commandments you give yourself. It only takes common sense to be aware. Now, we're talking about the 10 Commandments. But at the same time, I just want to bring this to your attention. You may not know this, but if you do, then great. You need to pay attention. First of all, don't you know that all doctors here in so-called United States, matter of fact, around the world, have to take this oath called the Hippocratic oath? If you don't really know about it, how come you haven't really been seeking it? Well, the fact is that you accept everything that they tell you as normal, when there's really nothing normal at all on this planet. First of all, what is the Hippocratic oath? Let's really take a look real quick. First of all, it tells you that it's historically taken by physicians and other healthcare professionals. Swearing. So when you swear, you're really putting people under a curse. To practice medicines honestly, it is widely believed to have been written by Hippocrates, often regarded as father of Western medicine, or by one of his students. Well, let's just stop right there. You can go ahead and look at this later on, and I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. First of all, they don't tell you anything about Hippocratic, who was basically his teacher, but they're going to tell you about the student. Okay, on top of that, when you're really looking at so-called the Greeks, this is where you're getting this hypocrites from. The Greeks are the ones who are basically the backstabbers, Johnny-come-latelys, the JCs, the Jesus Christs. Again, you have a symbol called the double cross. Now, this image right here is basically telling you that this was done around here, around, say, 12th century AD. Well, when you think about it, the same symbol, double cross, if you take a look at that, let's go ahead and go back and look at the double cross real quick here. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, let's go to images here. So the double cross is nothing but Christianity. And basically this is your Roman Greek Christianity. When you double cross someone, that means you are basically being a hypocrite towards that person. That means you are a deceiver. All right, let's go back. Also, when you're looking at the so-called hypocritical oath, they're taking an oath for one thing and one thing only, and that is for them to get paid. By law, they are paid to lie to you. This is why some of you people out there are having problems when you go to your doctor's basically telling you to take these 2 pills, these 2 tablets, just like Moses. Moses, brought these 2 tablets to get his people free. To basically tell them specifically, hey, these are the commandments of God. Well, who do you think is commanding you to take these 2 pills, these 2 tablets? That would be the doctor in white. And that's why he wears those white robes. We were the original so-called people, if you want to put in those kind of terms, but the Moor was really the original being that wore white robes around the planet, because that was the status of us. That was our statues. That was our purpose. That was our divine part of being. So that way people will know the royalty and loyalty that we had. But there's no doctors out there that are going to give you the proper diagnosis of your so-called body. They're going to give you a pill, first of all, which is really a lot of poison. Well, I'm going to make this a little shorter here. So again, right here it says, I swear by Apollo, the healer, such and such, such and such, such and such, and taking the witness to all the gods and the goddesses to keep according to the ability in my judgment, and allowing oath and agreement. So first of all, they're swearing and taking an oath to these so-called gods and goddesses they never seen. These are Greek gods and Roman gods and goddesses. Now, when you use the word God and goddesses, you're not really talking about a divine being. You're really talking about a demon, because that's what these so-called people did. They would basically bring down and bring forth demons towards you. So these are all make-believe gods that they have. They don't have no gods. They don't have no so-called goddesses. So these so-called original gods and goddesses are really the Moors that they're really talking about. But they're not really talking about their God in a sense, because they don't really have a God. So they're going to create false gods that these so-called doctors are taking oaths with. So let's go back to those so-called 10 Commandments. Yeah, of course, you Christians are familiar with the so-called movie 10 Commandments. But little do you know, they use a lot of symbology dealing with these movies. So now, since you're so-called familiar with the Bible dealing with the story, now they create a movie, and now you're really in love with it, because now you're looking at the icon. And if you look at the icon, they make them look like a Moses character. So now you're fully in love with the icon. This is why they give you so-called tablets, as you can write down. If you look at the symbol to your left here, you'll see that it has 13 icons all together. But at the same time, if you go look to the right, you'll see that the same guy who created these tablets is the same guy who was the Moses of Microsoft and also the Moses of Macintosh. So this is all documented, and they'll tell you in their writing that he's the Moses. You can go look this stuff up. I'm not, telling anything that they haven't already had told you in black and white on white pieces of paper as the standard. So when you look at these so-called icons, you also look in the icon in the movie, and now your mind and everything else is rewritten, commanded by the so-called story that you're so familiar with. So go ahead and look this stuff up. I have no time to be pretending. Let's keep on going. Here's a little bit of Hollywood in your face. First of all, they're going to give you a movie called 10 Commandments. Then on top of that, they're going to sell these props. They got 13 different versions, or 13 different versions of icons called props within this so-called movie. You can see the years that they are doing this movie against your so-called belief. So when they make these props, they're also making profits out of you. And these tablets are really tearing you up. So in other words, you following their commandments by keep on watching their movies. Let's keep on moving. One must seek and know There's a total of 148 laws of Maat, principles. You are the principle of your body. Just like you go to school and the principal takes care of you to make sure you learn something, well, you are the principal of your own school, which is your body. You have to school yourself. We only see 42 laws, or 42 of them. The difference of this is 106. 148 minus 42 equals 106. The sum of 148 is 1 plus 4 plus 8 equals 13. The 13th letter is M, Maat, who is nature. This is, you need to nature your own body, your mind. Okay, I'm reading from the King James Version. Here in Exodus, it clearly tells you the tablets were written on both sides. How many sides on each tablet? There's 2 sides on each tablet, 2 by 2. 2 by 2 means 4. So you have a total of how many so-called laws written on those tablets? They say 10. So what is 10 times 4? 10 times 4 is 40. What's the extra 2 commandments? That's read and write. So you have to read and write to know. So when you read, write to know, you gain proper balance, knowledge. Let's keep on going. I'm not talking about reading and writing as if you would do a book or that so-called Bible that you got. I'm really talking about the brain and how it processes, read and writes. It reads on the right and it writes on the left. That's the process of nature, going from right to left, because we came here with right brain thinking and now we're leaving here with left brain thinking. So everything here is the opposite. So this is why you have to begin to know thyself, to heal thyself, to be healthy within mind, spirit, and soul. If you don't do these 3 basic things, you tip the scales of Maat. Therefore, now you are burdened because you failed the so-called test. And that test is you. You are the principle of your body. So if you cannot examine your own so-called body, you just failed. So again, there's 2 tablets which are written on both sides. Exodus 32, verse 15 in the King James Version. This is 2 by 2, meaning that 2 by 2 equals 4. The quads of your brain. The tablets of 4 by 10 is 40. Those are your genes. It takes 40 genes to process or to generate a so-called generation to get you where you need to have. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in a few seconds. The laws and principles, or you are the principle, remember this now, of Maat by quad means 4. So 148 divided by 4 equals 37. This is the number of so-called writings that are on the tablet of Moses inside your Bible. It's not 10 now. The value of 3 and 7 is 10 because that's 3 plus 7. Commandments, that's right. So 3 plus 7 is 10. Those 10 commandments, or come of mind, which means sense, or simply put, common sense of 40 genes. Okay, let's take a look at this number 37. That's 3, which is C, the third letter, and 7, G, as in the 7th letter. So 37 would be C, G. That's common ground. So if you can't connect your ass back to nature, what's she going to do to you? She's going to toss you out because basically you're not getting exactly what you need to do in order to gain that proper ground because you are going against her. So just like any woman on the planet, if you go against any woman on this planet, she's going to treat you like you trash. So what do you think Mama's going to do, Earth? She's going to treat you like trash. Well, first of all, let's take a look at that 10. That 1 is basically male and that 0 is female. So 10 is basically female or male and female, which is man, M-A-N, the value of man. At the same time, if you don't get it, what is she going to do? She's going to add that 1 to that 3, 7. You're going to get a little knockout. And this is what I'm talking about. So if you don't get what you need to get, she's going to add that 1 to that 3 and 7. And you flip that 3, 1, 7 upside down, you're going to be a lie, because you've been lying to yourself all this time. At the same time, someone else has been telling you lies. Now you accept those lies. Now that lie becomes your truth. So now you're going to perish.